coast to coast, worldwide, you're listening to The Focus with Bishop Bob Lamore.
Hello. My name is Bob Lamore. I am the station engineer and co-founder of ATXSoulRadio. So I am the guy that you come to for questions for all things technology. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, which is cryptocurrency. Now, for almost 20 years, I have been sort of connected with crypto in some way or another. Now, cryptocurrency in itself, I probably have about since 19. Actually, no, I apologize. Probably about 2010, 2011-ish or so. I worked for a company that I wrote what is called contracts for crypto in the time when Bitcoin was about around $100. Actually, I think I want to correct myself on that. I think it was around $10 or so a coin. I mean, this has been a while back when it was still controversial and folks were saying it was a scam and this and that, and it was all on the news. So I've been in it for a while, is what I'm saying. But my end has been not so much on the purchasing end as much as on the writing the actual contracts that make the crypto work. I worked in something at the time. Actually, I don't know if I'm clear on the NDA, so I'll skip on what I was doing at the time until I have a better insight on where I stand with my NDA on that. I'll probably need to look through that. But as a coder, you'll find yourself in situations like that where you've worked on certain projects, and because of that work on that particular project, you probably want to shut up. I have been blessed to work for some of the major corporations after that time. One of them was, of course, Apple. And before that, I worked for Microsoft, supporting both the Windows operating systems as well as the Microsoft Office suite. And when I was at Apple, I worked in the wireless multimedia department. I worked there until I decided to get into real estate. And then I left to get into real estate. And I made one deal out of all the years since I left Apple. And that one deal did yield a decent amount of money, but if you don't open up any more deals after that one deal, that cherry breaking deal, that it's all downhill. And then plus, of course, we moved from Houston, which when I first got there, I thought, oh gosh, how am I going to make a living here, man? It's crazy here, right? It's actually been harder in Austin to be able to buy and sell properties here. So, but that's another story. And like I said, on The Focus, we're going to talk about all those type of things. But today on The Focus, we're going to concentrate on cryptocurrency. And I want to show y'all one of the tools I use, because in this business, you can't just go by what people tell you, man. You really need to do some research. And you need to look into a coin, and you kind of got to know why you're wanting to purchase that particular coin. You don't have to, you know what I mean? But to me, it just makes good sense. If you're buying something that you're hoping to make you money, that something needs to be an asset. All right, I had to take a quick break there. So we're going to talk about crypto today, okay? There are a couple of coins that I like particularly. And the reason I like these particular coins is that they are being accepted by government. Now, I know what the idea of crypto was. I was there when they came up with it. If you can't tell by the grays, I've been here for a minute. And so, obviously, a lot of folks are not happy about the direction that crypto is going in now. And for a little while, I was one of them. But now I actually get it, why the governments would be so concerned about this particular type of market, because for a long time they have controlled our ability to do commerce. Because a lot of times that is how these governments make their money. So they're not so much worried about you and I, the little guy. They're worried about the big guys, you know what I mean? The big corporate guys, the ones who can bribe countries and stuff like that. But believe it or not, only in America is bribery hidden, you know, because it's not like they don't do it. But here it's actually against the law, but they still do it. You know what I'm saying? That's just a way of life. And I think making it against the law just kind of ensures that people just don't flat out brag about, you know, paying off judges and lawyers and stuff like that. We all know they do it. We're not confused. And we know that the higher up you are, the more you do it, because how are you going to go to jail? We have proof now that we do not have a country where the laws fit everyone equally. We already know that, so we're not confused there, okay? But for you and I, it is such an inconvenience to have to go through all this stuff. So I'm going to tell you about some of the things you'll have to go through if you decide to go into the crypto market. For those of you that have never been there, one of the things is KYC, which is Know Your Customer. Now, from my research so far, it's only the G7 countries that do that. And why? Because we have this big bank that loans money to all the smaller countries. And they want to make sure that the smaller countries can't go around them. So your dollar or your yen or whatever, they want to kind of control how you spend that. And they don't want you to invest in nothing that they can't get a tax dollar off of, right? And so for those reasons alone, that's why KYC is put in place. So don't think if you purchase cryptocurrency that somebody somewhere counting beans ain't trying to determine how to charge you some kind of tax, let alone the tax that you get hit up with in the crypto market. So you really, 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 really need to do your own research and figure out exactly what you're going to invest in if you decide to do this. Now, for me, I invest in utilities. I don't necessarily buy Ethereum because I want to. I buy Ethereum because in order to do any transactions online, most cases, you're going to need some sort of coin for that ecosystem. Ethereum, Bitcoin, Algorand, Cosmos. That's just some of them. Base. All of these guys have their own ecosystem. Now, what does that mean? Well, example here, crypto, Ethereum. There are a lot of coins that are wrapped in what we call Ethereum, okay? Now, Ethereum in itself is traded, and as you can see, there are different prices and different yields that you'll receive from different markets, right? And each one of these particular markets, depending on how much sale they got, you'll also reap something in return of a little bit of a so if I made a transaction with you in Bitcoin, in order for me to transfer that to you, as long as you were on Bitcoin, there wouldn't be any fee. But if you purchased one of the other coins that ride on Bitcoin, then there's usually a gas fee. There's a certain fee, right? And you can look through the markets. They don't really show you anything like that. You kind of got to be inside of an actual brokerage and to be able to do something with that information. And that's when you'll get gas fees. Now, I kind of set up a little wallet here so that we could just had a little something on it so that we could kind of be able to look at what the market can do and how much it'll cost to do that. Now, this is not my, my main account. This is just something that I do whenever I get like drops because, like I said, I do a lot of coding, so I go to the actual sites of the particular coin that I'm interested in and read through its white papers and understand how it works and what the purpose of it is. And once you understand that, then of course you want to look into its virtual environment and learn how to write code for that. At least that's what I want to do. Most of y'all probably don't. That's a little more than what most folks want to do. But you know, that's how I know what I know about certain coins and how they work and who's using them. I literally go to the site and I do my research, right? I look into that coin. I see how much utility it's being used for and who's using it and why. So the thing is that a lot of countries are not telling people is that the countries themselves use certain coins to do transactions because it's just simpler. It's just simpler, right? Like if you've got Chinese money and you're trying to buy something from an American company, you can actually step around a lot of this know your own customer stuff that I can't do, right? You can literally go and buy as much of whatever particular coin you want because you're a major, company. And just as easy as you could call up your bank and say, hey, I need to send such and such X amount of dollars, that bank is going to make a record of that transaction and they're going to know it's you, right? But say you that same country and you don't want somebody to know that's you, that's buying this or that or whatever, you could then have one of your people buy crypto. They can pay XYZ with that crypto and XYZ, and you know where that crypto came from and why, but the government doesn't necessarily know that right off. Now, can they find it out? Well, yes. That's why they have this thing called Know Your Customer. Now, in order for them to find that out, however, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to find that out when it's used in a bribery purpose than it is for them to find out from you and I. So that long speech was then said there to explain to you why something like Ethereum and Bitcoin are so important. Is because they're used for transactions. They're used for short money loans. They're used to purchase things where using a traditional bank might ring some bells. Okay, that's not the official reason that they tell you for these particular coins, but that's the part that scares the governments because they know that foreign actors have a little bit more reach with this, as well as drug dealers and people of that nature have a little bit more ease of movement of money and a little easier way in some cases to launder money. Now, the laundering of money is pretty much tapped down in the US because of KYC, which is Know Your Customer. If you make really, really large deposits of cash, now, if we're talking about over a period of time, you could probably get away with that. But I mean, like, if you went in there with like a couple of $1 million and decided to buy a whole bunch of Bitcoin or whatnot, unless you're a big major company that, is open with your books and letting everybody know, hey, this is what we do. We buy Bitcoin, we do this and that. The government's probably going to put a tail on you. Okay, I'm just going to keep it real with you because of how easy it is to move Bitcoin from person to person. I mean, you could literally send an email to someone and send them the keys to that currency where they could just put it into their particular brokerage tool, whichever it is they're using. And now that $1 million that you would have had to carry in a bag somewhere, they got it in a few seconds, and it's just that easy. And we ain't talking about just $1 million. It could be 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever. It can be as much as you can manage to get into that coin. And that's why it is so volatile. You'll see a major jump in a coin, like right here. And then as it goes on, you'll see it drop off. Now, the reason I open this up is this is a crypto wallet. This is SafePal. And the reason I use it is because SafePal is a very secure wallet. It's like 3 steps all together. First, there is a password. Then after the password, there's 2-factor authentication. And after 2-factor authentication, you then need to use your wallet, which is a physical thing, this guy right here. This wallet holds all the keys to everything. That's why you won't see any, I'm not worried about showing you anything on my computer, because if I were to accidentally click on my main account and you say, ooh, that fool got some money, let me take it. You can't take nothing, because all my keys are locked away safely. And even if you came here to the house, tortured me, cut me into little bitty pieces and said, hey, what's this? What's that? What's this? I'm dying anyway. I ain't telling you jack. If I ain't dead, you should have killed me, because I still ain't telling you jack. Even if you did that, there's no ways. I have 26 words in my key. There's absolutely no way that I can remember every one of them. And this is for my kids. And, I put hints that where if they're good with computers, which one or two of them are going to probably be, because, of course, nerds run in my family, they win the treasure. So I'm sure there's some great computer hackers out there that could probably, with a quantum computer, one day figure out what my passwords are. But since I didn't create them, I don't know them. So, if you can figure them out, then good luck. Good luck with that. And that's why I do crypto. That alone is why I do that. The blockchain and its ability to keep a record of all transactions, what happened, where they went. It's a way to make sure that you keep your product, whether it's an NFT or a piece of property, anything you can tie to the blockchain ensures that you can easily do your transaction. You can transfer that property, either the currency, like in money, property, or you could transfer actual assets. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like, Bob, how can you transfer assets or actual physical assets via the blockchain? You can. They're called smart contracts. A deed to a house is just another form of currency. You can literally take that deed to a house into a bank and say, hey, I want to borrow X amount of dollars against this house. Then you can call me in Tanzania or whatever and say, hey, here's X amount of dollars. Or you could call me in Tanzania or whatever and say, hey, I'm selling this house to you. Send me X amount of dollars using Bitcoin or whatever, right? And I send it to you. Boom. Transaction done. I got proof I bought this house because we have a contract, and in that contract is stated that I'm going to send it to you via Bitcoin. Here's the Bitcoin. Here's the transaction. Here's the proof the transaction went through. So basically, the ledger is a way to keep up with transactions. That's the key thing to understand, okay? And that's what the biggest fight from all these different Bitcoin companies is about. It's about that ability to be able to do these transactions. Now, I don't want to bore you guys by getting too deep, and I just wanted to kind of touch on what the focus will be about. And it's going to be about all things to make money. I'm not here to sell you no dreams of getting rich quick. There is no such thing, man. And if you ain't figured it out yet, keep on looking, because I could be wrong. I just might not found that one yet, right? But everything I've looked into, all of these gimmicks that folks get up and talk about to sell their books and stuff, they never ever give you the full picture. I'm going to give you the full picture. You're not going to go, if you work with me on this, you're not going into cryptocurrency blind. You'll have an idea of what it is, and you'll be able to use it. And also, that's not all we're going to talk about here. We're also going to touch base on real estate, purchasing it, good deals, how to find those deals. And we're also going to talk about all things digital. Okay, so we're going to talk about using AI, how it can help you in your life. And I ain't just talking about making some funny pictures or something. I'm talking about literally creating things that can help you build wealth, like writing contracts, like even writing cryptocurrency contracts, to helping you with doing calculations for building something, or maybe even working with AutoCAD, or if you're into chemistry, working with chemistry. I'm also in the hemp industry. Yes, that's right. I work in medical, or the correct term would be consumable hemp products, CHP. Okay. I'm licensed in that. And I'm also a licensed, I guess you could say, I don't want to say practitioner because people might read that the wrong way. And I'm not necessarily a herbalist, meaning that I didn't go to school to tell you what herbs to take to make you feel this or that. My sole schooling when it came to hemp CHP was to be able to know the difference between a cannabinoid and, you know, something that's not really a cannabinoid. Okay. So some things THCA can do, then there are other derivatives of THC that's not exactly the same. Some of them will give you that euphoric feeling that people call a high, and then some of them will just give you a simple, you know, kill the pain thing. You don't feel any different or anything, maybe possibly sleepy depending on which one you're taking. So if you're interested in any of those things, from the CHP, which is consumable hemp products, to setting up your own cryptocurrency, setting up your own coin, actually buying and selling coins, buying and selling real estate, all of those things we'll kind of talk a little bit about. And I'll try to keep it within 15 to 30 minutes. Because sometimes just setting up what I'm talking about and getting everything on the screen so you could try to look into it takes a few moments. So I appreciate your patience with that. Now, one of the key things that I want you to take away from this is that you should get into both things before it's too late. You should get into understanding how to use AI, and not just to do some cute content online, but to actually use it to create a product and or help you to manage your business. You should learn how to use cryptocurrency. You don't necessarily have to partake in it, but you need to understand it. And a lot of folks are like, why, Bob? I've been getting along fine with my quarters, nickels, and dimes. And I'm sure you have been. But at some point in time, as we see the way the economy is going, sooner or later, you're going to probably need to find some way to do or make something happen for yourself that you can put away for your children. You need to think, in my opinion, you need to think about that. And I know that regulations can change, and you say, hey, Bob, I got cash. Cash is king. Regulations can change with cash too. And every day that you're holding cash and it's not working for you, it's losing its value. So you got to put it in some kind of asset that's going to generate some sort of revenue for you. The problem with that is, you can do like me and try to do it all yourself, a little bit here, a little bit here, but life happens to us all, right? And you'll be chugging right along that street, building up your wealth, and then pow, life event happened. Boom, life event happened. Boom. So you got to be able to make sure that whatever money you're able to put up can continually grow and make more money for you, because you never know when you're going to have to dip into that savings to kind of keep things going, or to patch it through when you're going through a job change or something like that. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be homeless, and it's getting harder and harder these days for a one income to be able to pay your rent. And that's another thing. That's why I want to touch bases on real estate, because that's another thing that we as a people need to try to understand is why we're stuck in the rent game. Okay, it's so easy to get stuck there. It's hard to get into a real property because you're taught to believe that you need credit. Okay, and in order to get out of the rental game, you have to understand you may not necessarily get to live where you want to live. And if you don't have a job and you don't have a lot of money and or worse, you don't have money or a job, you don't really have many choices. But it's horrible when you have a job and you're still stuck with paying rent, because that's the only place you can find close to where you work. And yes, they do that stuff on purpose, people. They really do. When you're struggling and stuff, for whatever reason, the good thing is folks that live in Austin, and I'm seeing the people in Round Rock are starting to have that benefit of being able to actually get a ride, whether it be public transit or, with the ride sharing. All those things are great. I even drove cab once in my life. And I used to think, as a cab driver, man, this sucks. I mean, this is not cool. I mean, I could work all day long and I take nothing home because I have to pay rental for the car I'm driving, right? And, obviously you don't want to drive those short trips where you're just taking somebody down to the store for $4 or $5, but sometimes you got to do that when you drive cabs, because you might have worked all that day, just been sitting there all day and not got one call whatsoever, because A, it was too high, and B, you know that at the end of the day, if you don't get any rides that day, you're gonna have to pay that $100 and some odd bucks out your pocket. So I was completely done with that. I said, bye-bye. The only person who's making money off of that was the person who had the license for the cab that I was driving. And the cab was an old raggedy cab, so he probably definitely wasn't paying anything other than maintenance to keep the cab up. You know what I mean? So here I am paying $150 every day. So that's almost $1,000 just out of the top of my head here. I just like to be a little more accurate with it, since I do have the ability to be accurate. And so if you're paying $125 a day times 7 days a week, that's 875 days. This old raggedy out of shape car. I mean, it was a really late model. I think when I was driving, it was probably like 2008, 2009, somewhere up in there. And, that's quite a bit of money a week. And this guy had 25 cars, each one of them linking him almost $1,000 a month. And the thing is at the time, they had created a monopoly here, whereas they would only give out so many of these licenses, kind of like in New York. They would only give out so many of these licenses a year. And that was going to cost you a nice lump sum, about $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. And I'm kidding. I don't actually know. It's probably a lot more than that. So, but now those tickets were worthless to those people. Hey, things change, right? And I knew sooner or later somebody was going to, get in office there that was going to say, hey, man, this is a scam. Y'all got to do something about this. It just don't make sense that you have to go through all of this to work and do the right thing. And so Super Shuttle to me was the breaker of that. And then after Super Shuttle came, then the ride share thing came. Now I said all of that to get to this one point, is that each one of these things that I've spoke of have been people creating companies that weren't just companies that sat there. These were revenue generating companies that they had little or no investment in. Okay. And these are the things that I am trying to build a team of folks, my syndicate, that will go after this. And I'd like to dub it the ATXSoulRadio Syndicate, because I'm hoping to build a group of men. Okay. And not hating against the ladies. And my wife will probably head a group up for the ladies, but I need this to be a group of men, because I'm hoping to mentor younger men. And so us older heads, that's starting to get our little Social Security checks and our little welfare checks and our retirement checks, we can afford to put away $25, $30 a week into an investment, or maybe not a week, $25, $30 a month into an investment to try to buy a property. When you say, Bob, that's going to take forever. No, it's not. It's not going to take forever. Imagine this. And again, since I really don't like to be wrong, I used to get in trouble a lot for being wrong. So I actually use my tools. That's what made me get into technology. So if you got 25 people paying $25 a month, okay, that's $625. Okay, that's $625. And if we do that times 12, that's $7,500. Now you say, Bob, what property are you going to buy with $7,500? Well, we don't need to spend $7,500 on the property. We need the $7,500 to be able to purchase some things that will then help us get the property. And you say, what would those things be, Bob? Well, to find that out, you need to attend the next meeting, okay? I'm just going to keep it real with you because I could go on and on and on and on and we would just never get none done, huh? Because we'd be too busy just talking. So I'm going to stop here before I wear you out and wear myself out. But know that I'm going to show you how that $25 a month in our investment club, the actual ATXSoulRadio syndicate, and I'm getting ready to put everything together for that. I just came, y'all were with me right now when I came up with that name. I ain't even talked to Steve about it. But the ATXSoulRadio syndicate, okay? And what our syndicate is going to do is we're going to invest first in small cap markets, right? Small capital markets are markets that we can purchase via any brokerage. We're going to also dabble in crypto, but not the way you think. Okay. Like I said, I like crypto for its amazing saving rates. Coinbase is one of the brokerages I use, and folks who are familiar with crypto may or may not like Coinbase. Excuse me. But I like Coinbase, and I also like crypto.com. The reason I like them is because of their apps. The apps and the KYC for those were the easiest for me. The least easiest was Binance. And I think one of the reasons for that is because it was a Chinese-based company. And for whatever reason, Texas just have a problem with, that company. I can't say all Chinese companies because I just don't know that. The only experience I've had dealing with the Chinese in any way that I knew anyway was my trying to get a Binance account. And I keep getting a message saying, I'm sorry, your region, we just can't get a connection there. It just can't seem to work it out with the government here. And I know, here I go being a Baptist preacher again. I have exceeded the time I said I was going to leave. So I am going to do it now. Thank you guys for enjoying this time with me. May you be blessed and may you have many, many wonderful days in front of you. Have a wonderful rest of your night. And thank you for listening to The Focus. This is Bob Lamore. And this time I really am out, y'all.
Coast to coast, worldwide, you're listening to The Focus with Bishop Bob Lamore.